has got some great Italian restaurants up there, especially in Vancouver. So yeah, this is turning into a cooking show, isn't it?
I'm the only guy with name experts. I'm the only guy that's going to talk to Joe Satriani and Steve Vai and not talk about music and guitars. Let's just talk about pizza the whole time. Something different, right?
Yeah.
They've heard all the rest. They want our culinary expertise.
I could hear the publicist's head exploding right now with this. But one last thing on this, Steve, because there is a music tie-in to this. You were on with me a couple years ago for your record at the time, and if I'm not mistaken, you had hurt your shoulder and your arm. And I'm pretty sure you told me it was making pizza, right?
Yeah, it was making pizza. It was the second tear of a tendon that I had, and I was just healing from the first surgery, and I had Billy Sheehan and Greg Bissonette over and showing off my new pizza oven. And you know how you get it up like that? You got to pull to get the dough into the oven. Well, this was very sticky dough. And I said, well, I'm not get my dough off of the spatula. So I gave it really, really hard jerks, and it just went rip, rip, rip. Oh, that was it.
What about the pizza, though? How'd it turn out?
It sucked. It sucked.
Wow, he overcooked it, Joe.
I said,
There was a connection. Somehow I could loop music into anything. Somehow we could figure it out. So speaking of music, congratulations. We're going to world premiere the third song that you guys have done together as a unit called Dancing here in a little bit. But I guess before we get to that, there were two songs previous. The previous song, I Want to Play My Guitar, you guys were on for as well. That featured vocals with Glenn Hughes singing on it. Tell us how that one was received, because you went out on tour and you did a pretty big European run. And I imagine Glenn wasn't with you, so I'm not sure how you handled that playing it live. But I
mean, we had, Marco Mendoza, this amazing bass player and vocalist, come in, and he just did his own spin on it. I mean, no one sings, like Glenn Hughes. So we weren't expecting somebody to come in and just sort of imitate him. So we just said, hey, Marco, how would you do this? Let's just have fun with it. And we opened every show with it. So it was great.
it was great. It worked great.
Yeah.
And overall, Steve, you guys, of course, done G3 together and everything.
Look, guys, we're going to react to the new song here. They're talking right now.
Entire time, but I'd say the majority of it for sure. We come out and we play. It's a good.
I'm in the hot car because I don't have the Sirius radio on the app.
We come out and we play together, and then I think I kick it off with a couple of songs of my songs. Then Joe comes out, plays them with me, and then Joe takes a couple of songs, and then it's that kind of tag team approach, and it's worked so well. But the majority of the time we're on stage together, and we're doing things that we haven't done in the past, even besides the new music, with some of our classic tracks, by creating parts for each other's songs. And it's fantastic. It's like Always With You, Always With Me is one of my favorite Joe songs. And the melody is already sacred. You don't mess with that. So it was a great opportunity to kind of add some support lines, and same thing with For the Love of God. So, and then there's those moments that are like, it's kind of like, it seems like Joe and I go into our cave and we sit and we stand and we just communicate musically in a very, very communicative way, because we've trained ourselves ever since we were teenagers to listen and respond. We used to do that a lot, and now we get to do it on stage. And that's one of my favorite parts. It goes really deep.
Yeah. Yeah. Very cool.
Joe, what about for you? Was there stuff in Steve's catalog that you were looking forward to kind of working on with him in this live context?
I wanted to do, 2 hydras. I thought 6. But the roadies objected. It was just like strings to change every night. So But quite honestly, I've I'm a song to collaborate on. I enjoy that the most. And as you know from being on tour with us with Sammy Hagar, this straight ahead rockers are they're really close to my heart, and so I'm always bringing those up, like how can we expand upon those and get the audience up on their feet, and it really does work, even if we're doing something like Steve
Just being there, dude.
"The Love of God," which is a really beautiful song. It's a frightening tour de force for Steve. I mean, he's just playing like crazy for the whole song, and the hardest thing for me is to remember to stop listening and to play my part. And sometimes I'll be sitting there just playing rhythm, and I think, am I supposed to play here? Because I don't want to cover anything up that Steve's doing, but that's part of the process, is that we're expanding on each other's material, and with certain songs, and it's really special. It's unique. It's made this tour and this album completely fresh and new. And I'm sitting here. I should apologize. I'm juggling these cards here because we're supposed to.
What's up, guys?
Right?
We're gonna react to a new song here. Maybe 40 minutes or more.
Well, I want to mention. I also want to mention. Joe came up with a great idea for one of the songs where we combined one of my songs and one of his songs, and we kick off with Ice Nine, and we play about half of that, and then we kick into the Crying Machine. And it was a brilliant suggestion because it works so beautifully. They're like the same tempo, same kind of key zone. And so that's another way that we're creating something that's different. I just wanted to mention that.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's really interesting. And I look forward to seeing this because the US dates are coming, which we'll talk about here in a second. But I'm curious from each of you. I mean, of course, you have an enormous history going back to when you were younger in New York and all of that. So, and the G3s and all the interaction over the years. But working together in this capacity for the first time, as you didn't know, that just being out there playing together. Joe, is there anything you picked up or learned about where Steve's at now as a player, and Steve vice versa for you with Joe? Joe, we'll start with you, working with Steve in this capacity.
Well, it reaffirms in my mind the fact that each player is really unique. And you think you can learn their stuff and play it, but it's never the same as it coming from the original source, the creator of it. There's so much there that it's really difficult to explain or put into words what makes an original performance from the original performer so special and unique. And you forget, even though Steve and I have known each other since we were kids, and we should know each other inside out, it's really surprising when you sit on the side of a stage and you're in that heightened state because you're performing and you're watching someone you've known forever play something you've heard him play a million times, and just go like, wow, that's like so much deeper than I thought. And yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah, and for me, I have kind of lived in a self-imposed bubble for decades when it came to the creation process and solo music. And then, and of course, I've carried Joe's musicality and the impression that it had on me since I was a kid through my whole life. And it always acted as a barometer of integrity in the back of my mind for myself.
Guys, I'll go live again when the song's about to come on. So just
standard. And always tried to keep up with it.
I'll be back
Once we
when
get
it goes
reaction
starts.